Hey guys, so here's the 6.3 day 3 notes. We're going to be talking about composition of functions. Okay, let's first talk about evaluating functions, and let's just talk about how we evaluate them normally, right? Okay, so we have used the functions to evaluate the following. We have our f of x function, which is 5x plus 1, and our g of x function, which is negative 8x minus 10. So let's first do part A. We have f of 3, okay? So anytime we are evaluating just a function, when they give us the x, we plug it into our function. So we're going to have the 5x plus 3. So I plug 3 for every place I see x. And then I evaluate. So I do 15 plus 1, which gives me 16. And so there's my final answer. Okay, let's do g of 4. So that means I need to plug it into the function negative 8x minus 10. So any place I see x, I'm going to plug in the 4. So I do negative 8 times 4 gives me negative 32 minus 10, and that gives me negative 42. And there's my final answer. Now, when we do composition of functions and we're evaluating, we're really going to do the same thing, but in this case, we're going to do it 2 times. Now, you're going to see it in this form, f of g of 4. So you're now going to see multiple functions. So when we evaluate with composition of functions, we do the inside function first. So let's go ahead and do that. So for part C, we're going to evaluate inside function first. So that's going to be our g of 4. So remember, our g of x function was the negative 8x minus 10. So you have to go back up. Double checking there, okay? Any place that I see x, I'm going to plug the 4 into there. So negative 8 times 4 minus 10. We kind of already did this, so I'm going to go ahead and evaluate it again. So this gives me negative 32 minus 10, which gives me negative 42. Now, we evaluate the outside function, but we don't do f of 4. Instead, when we evaluate the outside function, we're going to take the negative 42 that we got here and actually plug it into our outside function. So we're going to do f of negative 42. Okay. So now I plug negative 42 for every place I see x in the f of x function. So we have 5x plus 1. And you might need a calculator here. And so when I do 5 times negative 42, it will give me negative 210. And then I add 1, so that gives me negative 209. So my final answer here is actually, in fact, f of g of 4 is actually negative 209. That's my answer. Okay, so once again, you're just going to get a singular answer, but you evaluate the inside function first. Once you get that number, plug it into the outside function to get your final solution. Okay, let's go ahead. We're going to do the next one together because we're going to have multiple ones that you'll do on your own. Okay, so we have g of f of 4. So we evaluate the inside function, which that's going to be our f of 4 first. So remember, our function for f of x is the 5x plus 1. So every place I see x, I plug the 4 into there for my f of x function. So I get 20 plus 1, which gives us 21. Now, what I need to do is I need to take my outside function, which is the g, and I'm going to take the 21 and evaluate that. So I don't do f of 4 and then g of 4. No, that doesn't make sense. Basically, it's like you're replacing the f of 4 with the 21. So that's why we do g of 21. So our function for that is negative 8x minus 10. Oops, and that should be a positive 21 there. So you will probably have to use your calculator because sometimes these numbers can get pretty large. So I have negative 8 times 21, which gives me negative 168. Minus 10, that will give me negative 178. So my final answer here is going to be, so we did g of f of 4 is negative 178. Okay, make sure you watch the next video. We're just going to continue to evaluate composition of functions.